Most people grow up believing one simple rule: work hard and you'll be fine. Study hard, show up early, stay late, do what you're told, and one day, things will finally work out. For millions of people, that day never comes. They work harder every year, yet feel more stressed, more tired, and more financially trapped than ever before. Bills still arrive. Savings still feel impossible. The future still feels fragile. At the same time, they watch other people who don't seem to work nearly as hard quietly move ahead. No panic, no burnout, no constant financial anxiety. This creates confusion, frustration, and sometimes resentment, because it doesn't make sense. If effort equals success, why isn't it working? The truth is uncomfortable, but necessary to hear. Hard work by itself does not create wealth. In many cases, it actually prevents it. Not because hard work is bad, but because it's often aimed in the wrong direction. We confuse movement with progress. We confuse exhaustion with achievement. We confuse loyalty with security, and the system benefits from that confusion. This video is not about insulting hardworking people. It's about explaining why effort alone keeps so many people stuck, and how people who appear lazy often escape the trap. Hardworking people usually live inside a cycle they didn't choose, but were trained to accept. Wake up early, rush through the morning, work all day, come home exhausted, repeat. This routine feels responsible. It feels adult. It feels necessary. But financially, it's a closed loop. Hardworking people trade time for money and then spend that money to recover from the time they lost. Convenience replaces energy. Comfort replaces clarity. Over time, survival becomes the goal, not progress. The problem is not effort. The problem is leverage. Time is limited. Energy is limited. Attention is limited. When your income depends entirely on those things, growth has a ceiling. People who appear lazy often protect their time aggressively. They don't volunteer for everything. They don't confuse being busy with being valuable. They understand that exhaustion is not a strategy. Instead of asking, "How can I work harder?" they ask, "How can this require less of me?" That single question changes everything. Hardworking people keep pushing forward even when something clearly isn't working. Lazy people pause, step back, and redesign. One runs faster on the treadmill. The other asks why they're on it at all. Another reason hardworking people stay broke is emotional spending. After a long day, spending feels justified. I earned this. I deserve this. I need this to relax. And emotionally, that makes sense. But money doesn't respond to emotions. It responds to structure. Every time spending becomes a reward, progress slows down. Raises disappear. Bonuses vanish. Extra income leaks away quietly. Hardworking people often increase their lifestyle at the same speed they increase their income. The outside looks better. The inside stays fragile. People who look lazy delay rewards. Not forever, just until the system is stable. They don't celebrate effort. They celebrate outcomes. They don't use money to feel better today. They use money to reduce stress tomorrow. That's why they can look calm while others look busy. Hardworking people often think discipline means saying yes to responsibility. Lazy people understand discipline also means saying no. No to unnecessary upgrades. No to status spending. No to keeping up. Not because they're cheap, but because they value control more than appearances. And control is where real wealth starts. Hardworking people are often proud of their stress. They say things like, "I'm grinding," or "I'm exhausted," but that's life. Struggle becomes proof of commitment. But struggle is not a requirement for success. It's often a sign of poor design. People who appear lazy don't glorify burnout. They treat stress as feedback. If something requires constant effort just to stay afloat, they question it. They simplify. They automate. They reduce. Hardworking people become the system. Lazy people build one. This difference is critical. When you are the system, everything breaks if you stop. When you build systems, progress continues even when you rest. That's why some people can take breaks without panic, while others can't miss a paycheck. It's not courage, it's structure. Hardworking people are often essential but replaceable. Lazy people aim to be unnecessary. And being unnecessary is powerful. Because freedom begins when your presence is optional. Income is another trap. Hardworking people focus heavily on earning more. More hours, more shifts, more responsibility, but income without control is fragile. Money comes in fast and goes out faster. Nothing sticks. Lazy people focus less on income and more on flow, where money goes, what stays, what compounds. That's why someone earning less can build more, not because they're smarter, but because they waste less. Hardworking people often restart every month at zero. Lazy people build layers. Savings becomes normal. Stability becomes automatic. Growth becomes boring. And boring is good. Excitement is expensive. Boring is profitable. Hardworking people chase motivation. Lazy people remove friction. They don't rely on willpower. They rely on defaults. When systems are simple, consistency becomes easy, and consistency quietly beats intensity every time. Another uncomfortable truth: hardworking people are easy to control. They show up, they comply, they push through. Organizations love them. They rarely question the structure because they're too busy surviving inside it. Lazy people question everything. They ask why rules exist, who benefits from them, and whether following them actually leads where they want to go. This doesn't make them rebellious. It makes them selective. Hardworking people chase titles and recognition. Lazy people chase flexibility and ownership. Hardworking people try to look successful. Lazy people try to reduce dependency. And dependency is the real enemy. When your lifestyle depends on constant effort, fear controls your decisions. When your lifestyle is simple and stable, patience becomes possible. That patience compounds into power. Hardworking people often confuse stability with safety. A steady paycheck feels safe until it isn't. Lazy people assume nothing is guaranteed. They plan accordingly. They diversify income slowly. They build buffers. They reduce fixed costs, not dramatically, quietly. Hardworking people expand expenses when life feels good. Lazy people lock in simplicity while things are calm. That's why economic downturns hit people differently. Some panic, others adjust, not because they're fearless, but because they prepared when no one was watching. Real wealth is built in boring seasons, not during excitement, not during hype, during routine. Lazy people respect routine. Hardworking people try to escape it. Ironically, routine is what creates freedom. We're taught that ambition looks loud. Big goals, big risks, big wins. But most real wealth is quiet. It grows slowly, without applause. Hardworking people often want visible progress. Lazy people are comfortable with invisible growth. They don't rush results. They let time do the heavy lifting. This patience is mistaken for laziness. But patience is not inactivity. It's restraint. Hardworking people burn out chasing milestones. Lazy people keep moving long after others quit. Because they didn't exhaust themselves at the beginning. They didn't sprint a marathon. They walked it. And walking, done long enough, always wins. If you've been working hard and still feel stuck, this isn't your failure. It's the strategy you were given. You were taught to value effort over efficiency, sacrifice over structure, pride over planning. None of that makes you weak, but it does keep you busy. Lazy people rewrite the rules quietly. They simplify, they slow down, they build margin. They don't try to impress, they try to last. And lasting is what creates wealth. Not the loud moments, not the big breaks, the quiet repetition, week after week, year after year, with less stress than you were told was required. The goal was never to work harder. The goal was always freedom. Freedom from panic. Freedom from paycheck dependence. Freedom from exhaustion disguised as success. Hard work has a place, but only when it's pointed in the right direction. The people who look lazy aren't avoiding effort. They're avoiding waste. They understand the rules of money and choose not to play the loud game. They play the quiet one. If this video challenged you, that's a good sign. Because growth doesn't start with motivation. It starts with clarity. And clarity leads to better decisions, not harder days. This channel exists for people who are done being busy, tired, and financially stuck. People who want less noise, less pressure, and more control. This is wealth with less. And this is where working smarter finally replaces working harder.